What is good, people? Welcome back to the channel. KG is back. It is time for transfer talk, and it feels like it's coming together even more, people, if reports are to be believed, which I do believe it. So let's just get straight into it, people. Look, Baron Cross put this out maybe, well, as it says here, as I record this 33 minutes ago, relaxed on a goalkeeper arrival day. That's what Baron opens with this. Well, Fabrice Hawkins, who he does get quite a few things right, which has given me even more hope for this one, is saying that Leeds United have finally found their number one goalkeeper. Exclusive total agreement between Lyon and Leeds for Lucas Perri. The goalkeeper is leaving the tour in Germany and flying to England after medical. Perri will sign his contract with Leeds. So this one seems like it is almost done and dusted. Now, obviously, we'll wait for the big hitters to confirm it and everything else like that. That gives you just that little bit more of a stamp of assurance, I would say. You know, there's no contract number here, there's no transfer fee here, but he says total agreement between the two clubs. So we know this one has been in the background for a while with Lucas Perri. He's been one of the many goalkeepers on the list. But this one, it feels like it's happening, people. So I'm just giving you the news, but I would be very, 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 or shall I say, Perri happy this is happening. Or tomatoes in the chat, whichever one you want to give me. But this is really good news because I've said it many times. It doesn't matter what we do outfield. Of course, you make yourself as strong as possible outfield. But if we have a weakness in goal, we are not surviving in the Premier League. And it is as simple as that. We almost derailed our promotion campaign because we had, you know, an inadequate goalkeeper. So this gives me even more confidence going forward. And if Lucas Perri, even after Lyon have stayed in League 1, is going to come to Leeds United, that is a real big coup. It is. It's a massive coup. And it gives us one of the better goalkeepers in the division straight off the bat. So, you know, obviously we'll await more details in regards to this, but I want your thoughts. And are you happy with Lucas Perri? Would you have preferred somebody else? Let me know in the comments. I will say I am very happy with this if this comes to fruition. So I'm hoping to see David Ornstein, Fab, or, you know, Mike McGrath just say, yep, Leeds and Lyon have agreed to deal for the goalkeeper. And then we can see about moving Illan Meslier on. And listen, since the Leicester interest, I haven't seen anything else with him. But I think even Illan Meslier knows his days are numbered. I think Carl Darlow will probably stay as our number 2, especially with the way he's been highlighted over the last week or so. But yeah, this is absolutely huge for Leeds United, and it's one of the areas that we needed to shore up, and it looks like we've done so. So Lucas Perri will await more, but it does seem that this deal is done. Waiting on Fulham striker search, and we're going to keep this Brazilian. It does feel like Leeds United are waiting on Fulham. You listen to some Fulham fans, though, they think we have zero chance of acquiring Rodrigo Muniz. They're all just saying, why would he go to Leeds United? But, you know, Lucas Perri arriving, Rodrigo Muniz arriving, Igor Paixão arriving, huh? You never know, people. You never know. But it does seem that we are waiting on Fulham, and I've said this over the week, so I won't, you know, prolong this one. It does seem that we are waiting on Fulham to sign another striker, and then Muniz will come available. And if Leeds were not so, if they weren't given green lights by his agent or, you know, the club that there could be a deal, I think we would have moved on by now. But what I will say is that Leeds do need to have an internal, you know, deadline on this. We can't just sit around waiting for Fulham to do what they want to do so we can move in there. They need to line up other striker targets as well, just to make sure that we're not short before the season starts. There really isn't a long time, people. There's a very little time left before the season starts. We need to get him in for pre-season as well, just for that little bit of, you know, understanding. And also, by the way, on the goalkeeper, I know I've said it before, but I'll say it again, seeing as this is goalkeeper focused mainly. People saying that you can, you know, wait for a goalkeeper. I disagree with that. I think that you need to know the goalkeeper's tendencies. I think you need to know their patterns when they're going to come out. You need to know their, you know, where they're more likely to distribute overall, instead of a fresh goalkeeper coming in and you're clattering, you know, into each other against Everton on the first day. It's good to get a feel of what the goalkeeper likes to do, how quickly he likes to distribute, and everything else like that. So I do think it's important for the goalkeeper to know the system, especially if they are a ball-playing goalkeeper. Going on to Igor Paixão, moving on to him. It seems like transfer talk is the Paixão update, daily updates on Paixão, but I saw. I don't know how genuine the thing was, so I'm not going to put it up on the screen. I'll await other sources to say that we've bid for him, but at this point in time, people, there has been no new bid as I record this. Hopefully, that does change. Maybe with now the acceleration of Lucas Perry and everything else, give him a Brazilian teammate there. I don't know, but I do want to see this progress. I absolutely want this one. You get Lucas Perry and you get Igor Paixão, and oh my lord, we're talking genuine chances of survival here. Genuine chances. So we'll wait and see on this one, but I'm not willing to put up that report that's floating around. I don't know how genuine it is. Berin also covered this in this article in regards to Ramazani loan interest. There's nothing to see here. Obviously, with the way it ended for Ramazani, there would have been clubs looking at it and saying, he might be available. He had a loan offer and he rejected it. And also with that, can you imagine if we had loaned out Ramazani and then subsequently kept Jack Harrison? Do you know how bad the optics that would be for that kind of move? It'd be awful. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how the fans would accept that overall, because I'm still seeing it and I'm very surprised, and I'm pleasantly surprised that people are still not having Jack Harrison. I thought once he came back into training and everyone saw him again, it'd be, oh, Jackie, oh, Haradana, oh, maybe he can do this. People are genuinely sick of seeing Jack Harrison in the new Leeds shirt, and I give it kudos, because fans, especially this fan base in particular, they're not usually like that, man. If with someone like a Jack Harrison, they'd be more welcoming and, let's see what he can do. Maybe if the window shuts and he's still here, maybe that will be the attitude. But I think while the window's open, the fans are really hoping that he does leave. And I still think he will depart this summer. Speaking of wingers, Berin also says that we are looking at or considering other options. And Dilane Bakwa, who I mentioned on this channel maybe a few days ago now as an alternative. I went through alternatives when I thought Paixão was, Marseille bound, and he was one of them. And I would be absolutely pleased with this one. He's a real talented player. I'm not going to go into it again like I did before, but this is a winger that definitely gives the competition, and he's very different from everything we've got, as he's predominantly left-footed, but he can finish with his right. It is no problem for him, but he will play off the right with a left foot, which would be, kind of different to everything else we've got. Another name he mentioned was Bilal El Khannouss of Leicester City. Obviously, he's a talented player, but I did see him last season, and I do think it's more to do with the team he was in. He kind of just got lost in there, like so many do when you get relegated. After a while, everyone else just blends in and just sucks altogether. But you can see he's a highly talented, technical, gifted footballer. So it will be interesting, though, because Leicester have got a high price tag on this player. So if he is priced too high, or maybe he's maybe we can throw in Melier in the deal. Who knows? But if he is too high, then I do expect Leeds to look elsewhere, because I think Leicester are looking for, almost top dollar for this player. But yeah, again, very talented, but, got lost in the stink of Leicester's relegation last season. So maybe that's not a real fair representation of the player. I do think maybe in a more, stable system, he will thrive more. So I would not ignore the 2 goals, 3 assists, because it all matters, doesn't it? But there was a lot of performances where you could just tell Leicester just weren't playing to the potential, and unfortunately, kind of dragged his talent down with it too. So that is the update for today, people. Give me your thoughts in the comments. Let me know everything that you're thinking. Thank you to William Morrison for the super thanks on the last video. Much appreciated. Like the video before you go. It's free to do, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.